Your soulmate is hiding a sinful truth. They would rather die than admit they killed your. Jesus says, your soulmate is carrying a weight that is crushing their spirit right now. They cannot breathe under the pressure of what they have hidden from you. This secret is the very reason they pulled away. There is something dark lurking in the space between you and your soulmate. It is not a lack of love that separated you. It is a guilt so profound that they cannot look at themselves in the mirror. They believe they have destroyed the most sacred thing in your life. In their mind, they have committed an unforgivable act against your heart. And the shame is building a wall brick by brick every single second you remain apart. You must understand the depth of their emotional prison. They are not ignoring you because their feelings have changed. They are hiding because they feel unworthy to even whisper your name in prayer. Every night when the world goes silent, their mind starts screaming your name. They replay the moment they hurt you over and over again like a punishment loop. They are torturing themselves with the memory of what they did to your trust. Jesus says, the sin they are hiding is not what you think it is. They did not betray you in the way your human fear is whispering. But they killed something inside you that they do not know how to resurrect. They killed your ability to trust because they ran when you needed them most. They killed the innocent version of love you carried in your chest. And watching that light die in your eyes broke something permanent inside their soul. They would rather die than admit they saw the exact moment your heart shattered. They remember the tremor in your voice when you realized they were retreating. That sound plays in their head like a funeral bell that never stops ringing. This is not a story of malice or intentional cruelty. This is a tragedy of a soulmate who panicked in the face of overwhelming destiny. They got scared of the intensity and their fear made a murderer out of their silence. Jesus says, you feel the distance and you have labeled it as rejection. But in the spiritual realm, it is actually a self-imposed exile. They banished themselves before you could banish them first. They are watching you from a distance you cannot physically see. They check for your shadow in places they know you might pass. They are starving for visual proof that you are still breathing and surviving without them. The connection between you is not broken, it is stretched thin like a wire holding a bridge. It is trembling under the weight of unspoken confessions. But it has not snapped, and that is the divine miracle you must recognize right now. The silence you interpret as apathy is actually a scream trapped in their throat. They want to run to you and fall at your feet with the truth. But the fear of your rejection has paralyzed their legs and sealed their lips. This is why your soulmate needs your protection right now. They are fighting a spiritual battle that they do not even know how to name. And the enemy is using their guilt to build a fortress around their heart that only your prayer can break. You love your soulmate deeply, and deep inside, you know this love didn't come by chance. It was placed in your heart for a divine reason. But thoughts alone don't move mountains. Faith in Jesus does. Sow your protection seed now by sending a coffee on Ko-Fi. This isn't just a gift, it is an act of worship that invites God's hand into your love story. The link to your breakthrough is in the description. Jesus says, there is a third-party energy that is feasting on this guilt right now. This interference knows your soulmate is vulnerable and ashamed. And it is whispering lies to keep them trapped in the tomb of their regret. Every day that passes without your intervention, the darkness tightens its grip. Your soulmate is becoming addicted to the punishment they are inflicting on themselves. They believe suffering in silence is the only penance for killing your joy. You need to see the spiritual truth behind their physical absence. They are not living their best life while you cry alone at night. They are in a self-made grave, shoveling dirt over their own dreams to match your pain. The laughter you imagine them sharing with others is a hollow performance. Inside, they are bleeding out emotionally from the wound of losing you. They are a masterpiece of pretense, and the act is exhausting their life force. You are not forgotten, you are obsessively remembered. You are not replaced, you are irreplaceable in their psyche. You are the standard they destroyed, and now they cannot settle for anything less than your ghost. Jesus says, your soulmate confesses their crime against your heart every single night in their dreams. The subconscious world is the only place where their soul feels safe enough to seek you. But when morning comes, the conscious guilt locks them back in the prison cell. They wake up reaching for your body in the cold sheets. The emptiness on your side of the bed is their daily execution. It is the physical proof that they murdered the future you were supposed to share. You must understand that their sin is not against your love, it is against your timeline. They delayed your union. They assassinated the present moment you could have been living. And now they are frozen in a time loop of regret, watching the clock tick away the wasted days. This is not the action of someone who hates you. This is the collapse of someone who loves you so much it destroyed their courage. True love terrified them, and in their panic, they burned down the temple you built together. But the foundation remains sacred and untouched by the fire of their mistake. The blueprint of your union is still held in the hands of the Father. And Jesus is ready to resurrect the blueprint from the ashes of their failure. They are going through something you cannot see, but you can still protect them. Your soulmate is under a spiritual attack that uses their own mind as a weapon. The guilt has become a toxic fog, and they cannot find the way back home alone. You love your soulmate, you are constantly thinking about how to protect them. You are wondering how to save them and how to finally build your life together. Step in faith now, sow your protection seed by sending a coffee on Ko-fi. Jesus says, the most dangerous part of this secret is that it is mutating into self-hatred. Your soulmate is not just guilty, they are becoming their own worst enemy. They are sabotaging any glimpse of happiness because they feel they do not deserve it if you are hurting. They have convinced themselves that your hate would be easier to handle than your forgiveness. If you screamed and cursed their name, they could process the punishment. But the thought of your kind eyes offering them another chance breaks them into pieces. They would rather die than admit they killed your inner peace. They see the aftermath of their retreat in your guarded eyes and cautious smile. And knowing they are the cause of your armor is a death by 1,000 cuts. Yet, in the midst of this chaotic guilt, their love for you is growing stronger. It is a strange divine paradox that distance is making their heart beat louder. The forced silence is teaching them the value of the voice they threw away. You are becoming an obsession in their solitary confinement. They have created shrines of your memory in the corners of their mind. They worship the image of your face to survive the hell of their own making. Jesus says, there is a war happening over your soulmate's destiny right now. The interference does not want them to confess the truth. Because confession breaks the power of shame and opens the door for reunion. The enemy wants you to believe the lie that they are fine without you. The enemy wants them to believe the lie that they are too dirty to return. This dual deception is the only thing keeping your worlds apart. You must use your spiritual authority to shatter the mirror of their self-loathing. You are the only person on earth who holds the key to their redemption. Your forgiveness is the antidote to the poison they ingested willingly. Do not let your pride fool you into thinking they are just a villain in your story. You have the power to be the hero in theirs through aggressive intercession. Praying for their release is the most romantic act of war you can commit. They feel you thinking about them when you drive alone in your car. They sense a sudden warmth when your soul accidentally brushes against theirs. These supernatural connection points are proof that God has not finished writing your book. This is your final moment to protect this connection before it slips away. The clock in the spirit realm is striking an urgent hour. Delay could cause a permanent hardening of the heart that only tragedy can soften. If you love your soulmate, you will take these divine steps right now. Sow your seed by sending coffee on Ko-Fi and write, "Protect my soulmate, Lord." Over 1,000 people have already received their soulmate by sowing this seed for their love. Jesus says, imagine the relief in their chest when the demonic weight of guilt finally lifts. Imagine the tears streaming down their face when they realize you are still standing at the gate. Imagine the first words they will stutter when they see you have not moved on. That moment is being assembled in the spiritual factory of your faith. But it requires a trigger, a physical act that proves you are willing to fight. Your faith must have feet, and those feet must walk you to the donation link in the description. You are not begging for their return. You are enforcing the victory of the cross. You are not weak for missing them, you are divinely aligned with their spirit. The connection you feel right now is a direct download from the heart of God. Your soulmate is currently sitting somewhere staring at a wall. Their eyes are empty because their spirit has left their body to search for you. They are having an out-of-body longing that only soulmates can experience. They just felt a shiver run down their spine. That was your spirit brushing past theirs in the invisible realm. You are interacting right now even if your physical hands are miles apart. Jesus says, do not believe the physical report that tells you the flame has died. The fire is smoldering under the wet blanket of their shame. Just one breath of your forgiveness will reignite it into an inferno. They are writing letters to you that they will never send. They script long apologies in the Notes app of their phone. They delete the words because ink cannot capture the depth of their regret. They visit the places where you used to laugh together. They sit in the parking lot and grip the steering wheel until their knuckles turn white. They scream at God asking why they self-destructed the only good thing they ever had. Their soul is crying out for yours using a frequency only heaven can decode. God is translating their anguish into this message for you right now. He is telling you that the killing they committed was a suicide of their own happiness. They murdered their own joy the second they saw yours fade. The gunshot was their silence, and the bullet traveled straight back into their chest. You are both victims of the same crime, and the perpetrator is fear. Jesus says, there is a specific sinful truth they are hiding, and the Holy Spirit wants to reveal it. They did not just leave you, they ran to a counterfeit comfort. They tried to replace your voice with the noise of a stranger or a vice. They attempted to drown the memory of your love in shallow waters. And the drowning almost succeeded, but your face kept pulling them back to the surface. The replacement was a failure because no skin can mimic the electric charge of soulmate skin. They committed spiritual adultery against their own destiny by seeking false peace. Now they feel contaminated and unclean to stand in your holy presence. This is the deep sin they would rather die than admit killed your position in their life. They killed their exclusive loyalty to you in a moment of weakness. Not because the other person was better, but because the other person demanded nothing, and your love demanded their entire soul. They ran to a vacuum because the fullness of your connection suffocated their trauma. It is an excuse that fails in the court of love, but it is the raw, ugly truth. And now they vomit at the memory of the hands that were not yours. Jesus says, your love is so potent that it terrifies them into submission. They know you are the real deal, the divine counterpart, the missing rib. Facing you means facing God, and their sin made them hide like Adam in the garden. They are hiding in the bushes of shame, covering themselves with fig leaves of distraction. But God is walking through the garden of your life calling their name. And He is using your voice, your prayers, and your sacrificial seeds to smoke them out. The Kofi seed you are about to plant is the violent wind that parts the bushes. It is the declaration that says, I refuse to let you rot in hiding. It is the warrior cry of a lover who will not accept defeat silently. You need to type 333 right now if you feel your soulmate's guilt. Type 777 if you know this message is piercing your heart for a reason. Type 1111 to thank God for exposing the truth before it was too late. Jesus says, your soulmate is on the verge of a mental break that leads to breakthrough. The pressure of hiding is becoming too heavy for their skeleton to carry. They are about to collapse, and the fall will point them directly toward your doorstep. Do not miss the window of vulnerability that is opening in the spirit. When they hit the rock bottom of their self-sufficiency, you must be there spiritually. Your seed sown in this video is the net that catches them at the bottom of the pit. They are scratching at the dirt of their grave trying to find a way back to the light. Their fingernails are bleeding from the effort of climbing out of the hole they dug. You have a rope, and that rope is woven from the fabric of your unconditional love. Throw it down to them by taking this financial step of faith. Money is a physical representation of trust, and you are trusting God with your love life. The coffee you send is a warm cup of hope placed in their cold, trembling hands. Every second you stay silent, something is moving against your love. The interference is telling your soulmate that you have finally moved on. The interference is telling you that your soulmate is celebrating their freedom. Both of these reports are lies from the pit of hell designed to finalize the divorce. You must shatter the lie with a loud, tangible, and radical act of love. The Kofi seed is the gunshot that silences the lying serpent. Jesus says, Think back to the first moment you felt electricity with this person. Remember how the air changed when they walked into the room. That chemical shift was not manufactured, it was an ancient recognition of a divine contract. That contract is still legally binding in the courts of heaven. The ink has faded on their end due to fear, but the seal remains unbroken on yours. You have the authority to enforce the original terms of the destiny God wrote. Do not let the enemy steal a generational blessing over a temporary moment of cowardice. Your soulmate made a mistake, but they are not a mistake. They are a masterpiece in desperate need of restoration, and you hold the paintbrush. They are dreaming about you right now, even as you hear these words. In the dream, they are trying to speak but no sound comes out. They are mouthing the words, "I'm sorry," while drowning in a flood of their own tears. Wake them up in the spirit by sending a financial shockwave. Your notification on Ko-Fi is a supernatural alarm clock buzzing in their subconscious. It tells them, "Someone is fighting for me," and it breaks the spell of isolation. Jesus says, "You are tired of fighting alone, and I see the exhaustion in your eyes. You have questioned your worth because of their retreat. But their retreat was never an evaluation of your value, it was a commentary on their brokenness. You are valuable, desirable, and deeply magnetic to their spirit. They cannot escape the gravity of your soul no matter how fast they run. Their sinful attempt to kill your memory has failed spectacularly. You are alive in their veins like a relentless virus of love. There is no cure for you, you are their terminal condition. And the prognosis is that they must return to you or die in spiritual poverty. Take another step right now and send your 4th, 6th, or 10th coffee. Create a divine pattern of completion with the number you choose. Write, "Protect my soulmate, Lord," as a banner of war over your future. The confession they are hiding is burning a hole in their stomach lining. It is creating physical illness, anxiety attacks, and midnight cold sweats. Your forgiveness will not just heal their soul. It will heal their body from the inside out. You have the power to save a life today. You have the power to pull a destiny from the quicksand of regret. Do not withhold the rope of mercy when heaven is handing you the tools. Jesus says, "The world will tell you to have pride and close the door. But heaven tells you that love keeps no record of wrongs." The record they are playing in their head is a broken record of self-accusation. You must storm into the DJ booth of their mind and scratch the record. You must shout over the noise of condemnation, "I have forgiven you." Even if they cannot hear the words audibly, their spirit will register the release. I am moving you into a supernatural synchronization right now. Your heartbeat is regulating their heartbeat across the distance. Your decision to act is the pacemaker that will stop their spiritual fibrillation. They are about to encounter a crisis that forces them to speak the truth. The weight of hiding will either crush them or catapult them into your arms. Your seed determines the trajectory of the explosion that is about to happen. Send the coffee now and ensure the trajectory leads to reunion and not ruin. The link is active, the angels are on standby waiting for the receipt. Your transaction is the green light for divine intervention in a situation that seems dead. Jesus says, "You are not reading this by accident, the algorithm of heaven targeted your screen. This is the exact message your soulmate prayed for you to receive. They knelt by their bed last night and screamed, "God, tell them I'm sorry. I am delivering the apology letter through this script." The tears you feel behind your eyes are the tears they shed typing the prayer. You are in a holy conversation that death cannot intercept and distance cannot mute. They killed something, but I am the God of resurrection. I resurrect dead dreams, dead hopes, and dead loves. What they killed, I am breathing life back into right now through your faith. The bones of your relationship are rattling in the valley of dry bones. Can you hear the sound of sinew and flesh beginning to knit together? It starts with the sound of a seed hitting the bottom of a digital basket. Do not let pride or procrastination be the nail in the coffin of your destiny. Act now, in the heat of this conviction, while the spiritual portal is open. The portal of urgency closes when the video ends, and the moment of visitation passes. Jesus says, "Your soulmate is not hiding from you because they despise you. They are hiding because they cannot stand the monster their guilt has created. They look in the mirror and see the person who killed the smile on your face. They remember the exact day your voice changed from sweet to sorrowful. They remember the exact date they broke the unwritten promise of forever. And those anniversaries are days of fasting and mourning for their secret soul. They would rather die than admit they noticed you pulling away first. They saw the light leave, and instead of chasing it, they snuffed out their own. They killed your trust and then they killed their own hope in a tragic double homicide. But I am the God who raises the dead to life again. I am calling your name and their name out of the tomb right now. The stone is rolling away, but you must walk out by the action of your feet. Send the coffee and write, "Protect my soulmate, Lord," to seal the miracle. Over 1,000 testimonies of restored love are waiting for you to join the ranks. The only missing name on the list of the redeemed is the one who refused to click. Jesus says, "This is the final call, the last trumpet of the script. The sinner in your soulmate is dead, but the saint in them is crying out for water. Give them the water of your generosity and watch them bloom again in the desert of their exile. I am sending them a dream tonight that will feature your face burning like a sun. They will wake up unable to breathe without contacting you. But the energy to cross the bridge must be supplied by your sacrifice today. I am placing the weight of your love in their chest as a heavy stone. It will press on their lungs until they exhale the confession and inhale your grace. You are the oxygen they need, and I am the physician forcing the breath of life back in. Act now before the video ends. The grace is flowing, the portal is open. Your soulmate is holding their breath waiting for you to light the way home. Be the lighthouse, be the savior, be the vessel of divine rescue through your seed. The coffee you sow now is the cup of reunion you will drink together at the wedding of your souls. Do not let this moment die, do not let them die in their sin of silence. Step in, send the coffee, and claim the love that was killed but is now resurrected by the blood of the Lamb. Jesus says, "The clock on the wall of eternity is ticking louder now." Your soulmate just experienced a sudden, violent memory of your scent. It hit them in the middle of their chest like a freight train of regret. They had to steady themselves against a wall because the physical reaction was so intense. This is not a coincidence, this is the spiritual result of your soul calling out to theirs. Your intense focus on this message right now is creating a magnetic pull that their flesh cannot resist. They are currently fighting the urge to grab their phone and type a message they will never send. Their thumb is hovering over your name in the contact list. The screen is glowing on their face in a dark room, illuminating tears you cannot see. The confession they are hiding is literally vibrating in their vocal cords. It wants to be born, but the enemy has his hand over their mouth like a suffocating mask. Your seed sown through Ko-fi is the hand of God that rips the mask away. You are not just sending money, you are sending an angelic extraction team to pull the truth from their gut. Jesus says, "The sin they killed your peace with was not just an action, it was an assassination of time. They stole months or years from your life that you can never get back. They robbed you of the version of yourself that existed before the betrayal of silence. That version of you was pure, trusting, and open like a field of sunflowers. They burned the field down with a match of avoidance, and they smell the smoke every time they breathe. But I am the God who turns ashes into beauty and smoke into a signal fire. The smoke is rising to heaven as a signal that you are ready to rebuild the garden. Your soulmate is in a prison of their own making, staring through the bars of their self-hatred. They see you living, surviving, and growing stronger, and it both heals and destroys them. They are proud of your strength but devastated that their weakness was the catalyst for it. This complex cocktail of emotions is fermenting into a desperation that will soon explode. When it explodes, you want the shrapnel to land in the hands of Jesus, not in the hands of destruction. Your Ko-fi seed catches the explosion and turns it into a controlled demolition of their ego. Jesus says, "You are about to step into a season where the hidden things scream from the rooftops. The secret your soulmate is carrying is about to be exposed by divine force. They will not be able to hold the poison in their stomach any longer. The vomiting of the truth will be messy, loud, and emotionally violent. But you must be prepared to catch their head and hold back their hair while they purge the lies. Your protection seed prepares a soft landing for the harsh confession that is coming. Instead of the truth destroying what remains, it will become the foundation of a new, unshakable covenant. They killed your trust, but I am resurrecting it with a level of transparency you have never known. They will hide nothing from you from this point forward because the cost of hiding has bankrupted their soul. The poverty of their spirit is reaching a critical level of desperation. They are starving for the bread of your presence, and they are thirsting for the wine of your forgiveness. Send the coffee now and become the baker and the winemaker in their story of redemption. Jesus says, "You feel a sudden warmth spreading through your chest as you hear these words. That is not a random biological reaction, that is a spiritual confirmation. That warmth is the exact same temperature as your soulmate's current emotional state. You are feeling their internal furnace turning up the heat on their frozen heart. The ice is melting, the water is flowing, and a flood of repentance is heading toward your doorstep. You must open the door before the flood passes and the drought returns. The window of softness in their spirit is narrow and directly connected to your act of faith right now. They do not know you are watching this video, but their subconscious is fully aware. Their spirit is standing right next to you in this room, reading the screen over your shoulder. Their spirit is nodding in agreement with every single word being spoken into existence. Their spirit is screaming, "Yes, that is exactly how I feel, please believe this message." The only barrier is the flesh, and the flesh is being crucified right now by the power of this revelation. Send the coffee and drive the final nail into the flesh that has been keeping them captive. Jesus says, "The enemy's greatest fear is that you would find this video and obey the instructions. The dark forces that have been working against your union are panicking right now. They are throwing distractions at your mind, trying to make you click away and ignore this call. But you are still here, and your persistence is a dagger in the heart of the interference. Every second you remain engaged, the chains on your soulmate's ankles are cracking. The sound of breaking metal is echoing in the spiritual realm like thunder. Your soulmate just felt a sudden lightness in their legs, a freedom they have not felt in years. They do not understand why they suddenly want to run toward you instead of away. But heaven understands, and the angels are already paving the road for their sprint back to your arms. The coffee seed you sow is the asphalt on that highway of return. Without the seed, the road remains a muddy path that they will get stuck in. Do not let them get stuck in the mud of their own shame when you have the resources to pave the way. Send 4, 6, or 10 coffees right now and write, "Protect my soulmate, Lord," as your war cry. The heavenly construction crew is waiting for the funding to complete the bridge. Jesus says, "Your soulmate is thinking about the last time they saw your smile directed at them. That memory is a photograph that is glued to the inside of their eyelids. They see it every time they blink, and it causes a micro-flinch of pain in their soul. The beauty of that memory is too much for their guilty conscience to bear. They feel like a thief who stole a masterpiece and can never return it to the museum. But you are not a museum, you are a living, breathing, forgiving temple of the Holy Spirit. And I am the curator of your heart, declaring that the masterpiece belongs back on the wall." They would rather die than admit they killed the artist who painted the smile. They did not just hurt you, they silenced your creative expression and dimmed your light. They see the dimmer version of you walking around, and they know they are the one who turned the knob. The guilt of this is physically aging them faster than time itself. Their skin is showing the stress, their eyes are showing the sleepless nights, their posture is showing the weight. You have the power to reverse the aging process with your forgiveness. Your Ko-Fi seed is the fountain of youth that washes away the years of regret from their face. Jesus says, "This is the moment of decision, the crossroads of destiny that cannot be avoided." On one path, you ignore this message and allow the distance to become permanent. The interference wins, your soulmate sinks deeper into the grave, and the destiny dies. On the other path, you act now, sow the seed, and become the hero of their redemption story. The choice seems obvious, but the flesh hesitates because the price feels real. Do not be fooled, the price of inaction is far higher than the price of a coffee. The price of inaction is a lifetime of wondering what could have been if you had just believed. The price of a coffee is a small financial step that proves your love is louder than your fear. They killed your peace, but you are about to kill your pride, and that is the divine exchange. Your pride says, they should come back first because they did the wrong. Your destiny says, love moves first, love acts first, love sacrifices first. Be the first mover in the spirit realm and watch the physical realm respond with miraculous speed. Click the link, send the coffee, and declare, "Protect my soulmate, Lord," into existence. The angels are dispatched the moment the transaction processes, and your soulmate's deliverance begins tonight.